Gao Xianzhi. Gao Xianzhi, or Go Seonji, died January 24, 756, was a Tang dynasty general of Goguryeo. The closest one that comes early in this period may be the Battle of Talas, when Muslim armies of the Abbasid dynasty defeated a Tang army under the Korean commander Kao Sien-Chih in 751. It is often said that these captives introduced Chinese techniques of paper manufacture into the Islamic world, but what is clear is that the battle halted Chinese expansionism into Central Asia. The Oxford History of Historical Writing. Fall. 2 400-1400 page. 3. Descent. He was known as a great commander during his lifetime. He is most well known for taking part in multiple military expeditions to conquer the western regions over the Pamir Mountains and reach to Talas Eastern Türkistan. In 750, when he commanded the Tang forces during the Battle of Talas, fighting against the Abbasid Caliphate. The Tang defeat at the Talas River is considered to mark the end of both Tang Western expansion and Abbasid Eastern expansion. Around the new year 756, Gao and fellow General Feng Chenqing offended the powerful eunuch Ban Ling Cheng Chinese letter while defending the Tang Pass against the rebel Lushan, who had rebelled in 755. Ban then accused Feng of cowardice and Gao of corruption, and both were executed. Early life. Gao Xianzhi was the son of Go Seonji, a Goguryeo general. Goguryeo was defeated by Tang dynasty in 668 AD, and Go Seonji was captured by the Tang army, which he then served under. Gao Xianzhi was born in Tang's western regions. Historical records state that Gao Xianzhi was neither muscular nor particularly strong like other army officers, and his father was constantly concerned about his son's poor health. However, he demonstrated great courage from an early age and possessed skills in horse riding and archery. Gao Xianzhi's loyalty and bravery allowed him to net the position of general by his 20s and served with his father in Kafka under the Protectorate General to pacify the West. He successively served under the Jidashi Qianren Chinese letter and Gai Jian Chinese letter, but received no further promotions. However, Gai's successor, Fumeng Lingshi Chinese letter, was impressed by him and repeatedly recommended him to his superiors. By the end of Emperor Xuanzang of Tang's Kaiyuan era 727-741, Gao was serving as Fumeng's deputy. First Western Campaign. At that time, Lesser Balu, a city-state around modern Gilgit, Pakistan, was allied with the Tibetan Empire, and 20 city-states around it also became Tibetan vassals. A Tibetan princess became the wife and queen of Lesser Balu's king. Tien Renwen, Gai Jian, and Fumeng Lingshi had all tried to attack Lesser Balu in the past, but were unable to defeat it. In 747, Gao Xianzhi led a three-pronged attack of 10,000 cavalry soldiers, surprising both Lesser Balu and its Tibetan garrisons. Lesser Balu's king and queen were captured and brought back to Tang. However, Fumeng grew angry with Gao for directly reporting news of the victory to Emperor Xuanzang without first reporting to him, and threatened to kill him. The eunuch Ban Ling Cheng, whom Xuanzang had sent to monitor Gao's forces, interceded on Gao's behalf and reported Fumeng's threats to Xuanzang. Xuanzang, in response, summoned Fumeng back to the capital Chang'an in the new year of 748 and promoted Gao to take over his position. Gao arrested several of Fumeng's subordinates for attacking him, fellow Deputy Military Governor Chen Kaiyanli Chinese letter, and army officers Bai Sichuan Chinese letter, and Wan Tao Chinese letter, but then released them and allowed them to continue serving under him. He entrusted Feng Changqing as his assistant, often having Feng lead troops, or when he himself led troops in campaigns, had Feng in charge of the headquarters. Lai Xia also first distinguished himself as an army officer under Gao. As a result of Gao's first successful campaign, Tang began to contend for influence with the Abbasid Caliphate and Tibetan Empire in the area of modern northern Pakistan and Afghanistan. Around 72 regional Indian and Sogdian kingdoms became Tang vassals, ending the Tibetan dominion of the Pamir Mountains. During his service as Jidashi of Anxi, places such as Tokmak, Kucha, and Kashmir came under the Protectorate's jurisdiction. Second campaign and Battle of Talas. In late 749, Shiladekiliu Chinese letter, a prince of the Tuhiwalu Chinese letter, possibly Chicherians, reported to Tang that the king of Kish Chinese letter, the present-day Chichwal Valley in northern Pakistan, had been aligned with Tufan and Penin Dan Chinese forces stationed at Lesser Balu, and suggested that Emperor Xuanzang send forces the region. In spring 750, Xuanzang sent Gao Xianzhi to attack Kishi. As king, Batima Chinese letter was captured, and Batima's son Suja Chinese letter was crowned king. Gao then made a peace treaty with the state of Shi Chinese letter, modern Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and once she stood down its defenses, attacked it without warning. The Shi King Chibi Shi Chinese Leta was captured and sent to Shan to be executed. This angered the nearby states, particularly after Gao slaughtered the old and weak captives. Gao also personally profited from the looting in battle a large supply of diamonds, several camel loads of gold, prized horses, and other treasures. In spring 751, Gao personally visited Shangan and, for his contributions, Xianzhi gave him the honorific title Kaifiyadong Zansi Chinese Leta and was paused to move him to Hexi, where the Jidashi and Sishan resisted to be ousted. However, Xianzhi decided to allow him to remain at Hexi and Gao to remain at Anxi. Meanwhile, a Shi prince had fled to the various states around the region and told them of Gao's treachery, causing them to ally with the Abbasids. When Gao heard this, he made a preemptory attack with 30,000 soldiers against Abbasids, reaching a town of Atlak in modern Talas region of Kyrgyzstan near the city of Talas in modern Kazakhstan and meeting Abbasid forces there. The armies fought bitterly for 5 days before the Turkic-speaking Koluks turned against Gao. Tang forces were crushed and only a few thousand survived due to the efforts of Lai Sai. Another subordinate of Gao who distinguished himself at the battle was Juan Zershi, whom Gao recommended for promotion after the battle. The Talas conflict marked the end of Tang advances to the west, and the heavy losses by Abbasid forces despite the victory appeared to end Abbasid designs in the east as well. Gao was then made a commanding general of the imperial guards at Pamir Mountains and replaced him as Judashi of Anxi. In 755, Gao was created the Duke of Mian. In 755, and Lushan, the Jidashi of Fanon Chinese Liter, headquartered in modern Beijing, rebelled against the Tang. Emperor Xianzhi nominally commissioned his son, Lai Wan Chinese Liter, the Prince of Ron, the commander of the forces against and rebels, and put Gao Xianzhi in charge as Lai Wan's deputy. Gao gathered 50,000 soldiers from the Shannan region and took up position at Shan Commandery Chinese Liter, roughly modern Zamengxia Henan. Bayan Lingqing was made Gao's monitor. Meanwhile, Feng Changqing was sent to the eastern capital Lorraine to prepare its defenses, but once Feng discovered upon arriving that he was given inadequate weapon supplies and was defeated by the army. Feng retreated to Shan and suggested to Gao that Shan could not be easily defended, and so they should retreat to Tong Pass, which was a more suitable defensive position. Gao agreed, and the two of them took up position at Tong Pass. When N's forces attacked Tong Pass, they failed, and historians credited Gao with the improved defenses. However, during the campaign, Gao had caused much offense against Bayan, as Bayan was making demands of him that he was not meeting. When Bayan returned to Chang'an, he accused Feng of exaggerating in strength and accused Gao of improperly abandoning Shan as well as corruptly withholding food supplies and imperial rewards to soldiers for personal benefit. Xianzhi, believing Bayan, issued edicts for Feng's and Gao's executions. After Bayan returned to Tong Pass, he first read the edict for Feng's execution. Feng was beheaded, and upon the completion of that execution, Bayan then read the second edict ordering Gao's execution. Gao cried out. The soldiers cried out for Gao as well, but Bayan still beheaded Gao. As Gao was to be killed, he looked at Feng's body and stated, Legacy. Gao's defeat, which marked the end of Tang's expansion to the west, was partially fictionalized by the modern Chinese historian Bo Yang in the short story The Tashkent Massacre, The Chinese Were Cursed Here, in which he gave a fictional curse by the Queen of Shi, cursing Tang and the Chinese fraternity for Gao's treachery.